Blog Talk Radio.
Well, hello, and welcome to the Divas That Care. My name is Candace Gish, and thank you so much for tuning into our program today. Well, I have a great, amazing, brand new diva that I'm going to be welcoming to our family. You know, you're going to love her story. She's got so many great things to share with us today. But for any of you that have just tuned in today for the first time, our shows have been running now for 9 years, and we have the opportunity to interview women from around the globe. Our program now hosts 10, actually 11 divas that have their own programs. So I want you to make sure that you check them out on the Divas That Care network. All of our shows are recorded, and we hope that you enjoy them. So let's get started today. I would love to welcome our newest diva, Esther Bernstein. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, we love having you. You know, I had my amazing assistant Joyce contacted you, and I'm so thankful for that because she just finds these amazing women that I have the opportunity to. And your story, when she told me about it, was just absolutely wonderful. So, if you don't mind, just share a little bit about yourself and introduce yourself to our divas.
Sure. So my name is Esther Bernstein. I am the founder of Sapphire Sanctuary, a horse rescue in the Los Angeles area. We were incorporated in 2008, so we've been doing this for about 11 years now, and we rescue horses that have been abused, abandoned, or neglected. We take in the worst of the worst cases. My background is actually from the racing industry, and because of that, I learned how to care for some very expensive horses in the most intricate and proper ways that they could be cared for. And so the things that I actually learned at the track are things that we now incorporate with the horses at our rescue, other than the racing part, obviously. So they get the best of care. These are horses that have either, mental, physical, or emotional problems that make them unsuitable for adoption. So we are a sanctuary. We are not a shelter. For those of you that don't know the difference between that, a sanctuary is a place where animals have a permanent home, and a shelter is a place where, adoptions will happen and they'll come in and out. We do offer adoptions, but we have the owners keep the horses until we can find suitable adopters for them. I'm also in the process of publishing my first book, which will be out on December 3rd. We're finishing up our documentary as well, and there's lots of amazing things that are going on right now in our organization. So I'm looking forward to sharing all those things with you.
Well, I'm excited, and I really love that it's a sanctuary that you're talking about. And you did mention that you do the adoptions, you've got foster care, you rehome horses, and then retirement. So do you have quite a few farms that have taken in these animals, or do you have a specific location that you will, for example, for your retirement, do you have one location that they are retired, or have you set up places all around throughout that area, California, for these horses?
We're actually kind of a small organization. We only have 8 horses in our custody at this point. We actually operate out of a boarding facility. We have yet to be gifted our retirement place. So the foster people actually will give them a retirement home until we're able to take them back in. And they've been great to work with. The community has just all come together and helped us and followed our protocol so that they also get the best of care wherever they're located.
Oh, that's beautiful. And one of the things that you do is that in order to look after these animals, because you do through donations, and it's a charity, correct?
Yes, we're actually a 100% volunteer organization. No salaries are paid, so everything that we get in goes directly to the care of the horses.
That is so wonderful. And there's a need out there. There's so many animals, not just the horses, but for the dogs and the cats, just a place for them to go. And, you've been running now for, how many years has your sanctuary been running for?
11.
11 years. That's amazing. So you've gone through quite a few horses in that period of time.
We've placed approximately 80 horses over those years. Most of them have been senior or, lame or unrideable. So most of them have been companion horses, which is actually kind of extraordinary since most people are looking to have a horse to ride. Our philosophy, though, is a little bit different. And I've actually made it a point to try to put back into the public conscience about horses and what they're really here for. They're not really to be our physical beasts of burden anymore. They're here for our emotional beasts of burden role, and they help us with those types of things. So if they stop looking at horses as if they're a commodity and something that can actually help them with their growth and expansion and their consciousness, that actually makes a horse that maybe you can't ride increase its value, at least in your heart.
I love that, and I love that you're saying, like, I had the opportunity to grow up on a farm, and I had horses, and those were the best times of my life growing up, and having that opportunity just to sit with my horses and talk to them, and it was just a very emotional time for me as a teenage girl growing up, having that ability to be with my horses. So you talking about that, I completely understand, and I just love what you're doing.
Thank you.
So tell me this. Tell me about this amazing book. You've got a book now entitled Changing Horses, and this is going to be out in December. I'd love to hear about that and how that started about.
Changing Horses actually began as a documentary. And what happened was as I was putting the documentary together and we had filmed people from all over the world, I had about 240 hours worth of footage to go through. There was actually a big piece of the story missing, and that was my story. So the questions that I was asking of all the people that I interviewed really wasn't making sense because there was no backing as to why I was asking these questions. And also my volunteers and our supporters, they always ask me, well, how did I learn this? How did I learn that? And it was actually easier for me to write a book about how I gained all these experiences rather than go through these explanations every day. And that was really the reason I wrote the book. Plus, it actually gave the film a bit more of a foundation, and so that it can be completed as well. Both the book and the film are entitled Changing Horses, and it is about how horses change people so people can become inspired to change the world.
I love that. And that is definitely our Divas That Care. We're all about changing the world. So tell me, is your movie out then? Or does the movie come out at the same time the book does?
The movie's probably not going to be out for at least another year or 18 months after the book. We're focusing on the book right now. But it will be out, and there'll be an announcement. And we do have a website called ChangingHorsesTheFilm.com. So if anybody wants to see what we're doing with that, that would be where to go.
Oh, I love it. And just to let all of our listeners know that the proceeds of this book go directly to the horse rescue. So I will make sure that I will be posting about the book on all of our website, all of our social media, and on the Changemakers Cafe. So make sure that you watch out for that because it's going to be a great book.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, it's about my life experiences from the age of 2 until actually what happened to me 2 months ago when I lost my life partner, and my life partner being a horse, not a person, and how that actually was the game changer for me without even knowing it. I was teaching. I have a coaching course. I certify equine coaches and instructors to become counselors and such, and what I realized is that I was not walking my talk. And we don't usually walk our talk until a sledgehammer hits us in the head. And then we wake up and we say, maybe you better get your act together. And it was because of what happened to my horse, I actually got my act together. That was the only way it was really going to happen. And I don't want to really say much more about it, so it'll ruin the book for people. But that's really what it is about. It's about change and how how we need to question ourselves and our motives and where these things are coming from, and are they spiritually guided, or are you working off of ego, or are you working off of source? What are all those things that you do on a daily basis and the choices that you make?
Do you find that more people are getting in tune with that? Because I hear that a lot now. I never used to hear that, but a lot of people are now talking about it.
I think there's a movement happening. I think people are becoming more aware that they've been making ego-based choices rather than source-based choices, and based choices haven't really made them happy. And there's nothing wrong with that. We actually need part of that. But what happened is that they're not fulfilling their soul's purpose. And so when they start to move their life in a direction that fills their soul, then they truly find the happiness, they find the abundance, they find the tribe, they start attracting all the things that their soul has been searching for their entire life. But they had to go through the process of a lot of ups and downs to discover that, and that's just part of what we all go through. So I have a lot of empathy for people that are on the roller coaster of life. It's not a fun thing to do, but once you actually get off of it and figure out what direction you're going in, you can make your life really easy if you choose to.
I love that. I agree. So tell me this, how can people get involved? I know you are located in Los Angeles, California, and we do have listeners all over the place. So let's talk about a couple of things. How can people work with you locally, and how can people work with you that are not locally?
So people that are local in the Los Angeles area, they can either volunteer their time, they can sponsor one of the horses that we have in our custody, they can do things for us such as local social media, or have yard sales or things like that, anything to just help us keep us going. For people that are not local, we do have people all over the country that do fundraisers for us, help us with our social media exposure, those types of things. So there's lots of ways to get involved. In fact, we're having a meeting this week about how we can make our organization feel more like a community rather than just this little private group. We want people to feel like this is a family, that they're contributing to something that is close to their heart, and finding creative ways for them to become involved with it on whatever level they're comfortable with. So it might just be one little thing they could do for an hour a week sitting at home, just being creative and saying, hey, this might be a good idea, and maybe it might raise $100 and they can feed the horses for a week, that kind of thing. So there's lots of ways that people can get involved. They just have to be creative and think if it's a good idea. We don't say no to anything. We're open to everything.
Oh, I think that's brilliant. What a great way for people to get involved. So tell us now about your events. You do meetups. So what is that all about?
Our meetups are based on the program that I wrote, and I can't actually say I wrote it, the horses actually wrote it, entitled Equalia Actualization. And what Equalia Actualization is, if anybody's familiar with the Deepak Chopra term qualia, that means basically how something or someone perceives something. So just because I tell you the sky is orange and you say the sky is purple, neither one of us is wrong. It just depends upon how we're looking at it. And so I added the E there because this is all about how the horses view the world. It's about equalia, it's equine plus qualia, and then actualization, which incorporates Maslow's theory of hierarchies and needs, and how the horses felt that that was important to combine with how they saw the world. So the meetups are based on the program I design, and we take little sections of the program, and we have discussions about certain things, about responsibility, about awareness, about caring, about horses truly being our mirror, in fact, a mirror that we usually don't want to look into, connecting with nature, and then kind of putting it all together. So the horses wrote the program. These are the things they wanted humanity to know about, and I'm just basically being their voice and conduit. I actually don't take any credit for the information that came through.
Well, I think it's great, and I love that what the program that you're providing, and um, it's unique in a way that not everybody's doing that.
No, there's a lot of, coaching and therapeutic programs out there that involve horses, and they all have their place, and I think they're all super important. But I really
Mhm.
wanted to do something where it was from the horse's voice, not from a human voice, because I think people can get skewed, and horses are so pure in their connection with source. So
Mhm.
their information, I felt, for me at least, was going to be a little bit more correct than if I heard it interpreted from a human being.
Well, that is really neat. And how? So I'm going to be asking you this. Do you do any webinars, things that people can be with you online that are not in your area?
Yeah, we've just started to do that. I do some remote sessions with people, and it's not what I would call an animal communication session. I have people do like a Facebook video chat, but I actually want them there with their horses, and I can coach them through any issues that they're actually having with the relationship with
Mm.
their horse,
Yeah.
which really turns into the issues that they're not addressing within themselves that the horse is telling them about. But I need to actually see the horse's body language with the person in order for me to do
Okay.
that type of interpretation. So that's why I do it via video chat. I've done a few workshops as far as nutrition and how your emotions affect your horse's behavior. We
Mhm.
just did one in Sacramento called Equine Nutrition, Your Horse and You. And I need to call in people that are really ready to make that shift within themselves, because whatever information I give, it's just information, but if you're not ready to apply it, a lot of these things can be very, for lack of a better word, confronting, because now you really have to look at yourself and have to be ready for that. And I had to learn that the hard way. I'm hoping that by what I teach, I can help people avoid some else.
Yes. Oh yes, exactly. And that's what we want to do, isn't it? Is to show people we don't want them to have to make the same mistakes that we've made through that. And that's what our journey is empowering women is
Exactly.
to really do that for people, is to really help them through those. And I love that. How can they? What are your social media links? What social media links would you like to share with our listeners today so that they can connect with you?
You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. Those are our filers. So if you just Google Facebook and then Sapphire Sanctuary, and Sapphire is spelled S as in Sam, A as in Apple, double F as in Frank, YRE. So it's Sapphire Sanctuary. If you Google Facebook Sapphire Sanctuary, Instagram Sapphire Sanctuary, YouTube Sapphire Sanctuary, all those things will come up, and you'll see our videos, our daily happenings, our posts from our volunteers. And we actually also have an Airbnb program for people that want to come and play with our rescued horses. This gives them an opportunity to interact on a personal level without having like a full volunteer experience. Maybe they don't really want to be scooping poop for the day. But they can come to Airbnb and get to go in and play with the horses with their toys, which is actually a very
Yeah.
fun thing to do.
Oh, I think that'd be so wonderful. And we're going to be posting all this information on our social media links to all of our listeners so that you have it, because I think it's really important to do that, to really lock arms with others and to share that information. As the last thing, can you leave our listeners today with any tips, any tools, things to help them in their life, how they can be a change maker out there, how they can make a difference in the world?
If you really want to make a difference in the world, you're going to have to listen to your heart and think back to what you wanted to do as a child between those ages of 5 and 7, and follow that guidance. Somehow figure out a way to make those happen and align yourself with people that will believe in you. Don't be around people that don't believe in your dream, because I'm here as living proof. Anything is possible if you believe hard enough in it, and that's mostly about believing in yourself.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being my amazing guest tonight. I had such a great time. I love what you were doing. You know what? We're going to be posting all this, as I was saying, on our social media, because we want all of our listeners to really, connect with you and just to learn what you were doing, because you were doing some amazing things in Los Angeles area. And I think a lot of our listeners could perhaps do something like this in their area. And I think that's what it's all about, is learning what others are doing, so we can do this for ourselves too. So thank you so much, and I hope that you come back on again when your book is launched, so we could talk about your book on our program.
I would love to do that. Thank you for having me again, and thank you all the listeners out there. I am available. My contact information is on the website, so if anybody has any questions or wants to get a hold of me, they're more than welcome to do so.
Thank you so much. And you know what? Thank you to all of our listeners. It's because of you that we've continued to do this for 9 years, and we will continue to do it for a lot more. We just love our amazing guests that come on our program. They are always inspiring, and we learn from them each and every time. So make sure that you take this call and you send it to your friends and family. And check her out. Check out her amazing website. Check out what she's doing and get involved as you can. Thank you again to our amazing guests. Thank you to our listeners. I hope that each and every one of you has an amazing day, and make sure that you do something kind. Bye-bye for now.